Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Skyward Sword Randomizer tournament losers bracket finals, game one of this game live Skyward Sword Randomizer tournament. We've got Gymnast86 versus Jasnix, which is going to be an exciting match because Jasnix was the one who knocked Gymnast down to the losers bracket. So, be exciting. So I'm joined today. I'm joined today by my co-commentator Sandra.
Hello.
8 plus 6 equals question mark. There's some meme there that
It's I mean his number is 88 plus 6.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so yeah, the history of how we got here is that that Gymnast lost to Jasnix in the
Quarters finals.
Yeah, in the quarterfinals. And then in the winners finals, Your Average Link beat Jasnix 2-0 in that series. So now we are in the losers finals series, which is again a best of 3 series. So we're only in game 1. So time to see how these runners fare in this race. So we have Gymnast with the file name I just mentioned, Jasnix with Clock Pause, and the runners are off. So required dungeons prediction.
LMF AC.
I'm gonna go with the LMF Fire Sanctuary. We'll see who's right.
Everyone guesses at least one.
So we've got Skyview Sandship from Yal and Sandship Fire Sanctuary from Harm as guesses.
Spiral Charge is the first item. Opens a lot. Earth Temple LMF.
Earth Temple was the one dungeon that no one guessed. And it's probably the worst dungeon to get in these settings because the key pieces all count as Spirit of the Sword items.
Jim getting early money.
Yeah. So the nice thing about Spiral Charge early is that the runners will be able to check both Spiral Charge rocks on their first Sky Loop. I don't know if you've seen a pillar yet. Fire shield earrings. So I don't know that. Yeah, so we don't know what our starting pillar is yet. So not sure which of these is actually going to be required.
It looks like it's Lanero.
Yep, it's Lanero, so it's an interesting start. The runners can technically access the LMF entrance right now, but they can only do one check.
Nice health container.
Yeah. So Laneru's starting pillar, though, is probably the worst of the 3 starting pillars because there's only one in logic check.
Oh! No creeps yet. In this.
Yeah, both runners not making a bit magic file. We will see if that winds up having any consequence. I mean, there's going to be some instances of back in time, but not like there's only a small possibility that they'll actually want to go up towards the academy in bit. So I think not making the bit magic file is defensible, but I would Yeah, I still like making a bit magic file with Earth Temple seeds just because it makes it less complicated when you want to do the Earth Temple door RBM later and you want to create a corrupt file if you have because oftentimes you will have already broken the 2x20 boulder. So logic is glitchless, but we
Yeah.
do allow the limited use of back in time, where limited basically means confined to Skyloft and no item duping.
Yes, Earth Temple has lags, as Jarl has pointed out, which is one of the most common RBMs in Earth Temple. Claw shots. Okay, with this.
So yeah, we'll see if Jim and Jasnix decide to turn back around to get the hint stone on top of the waterfall. So Jasnix...
I mean, with claw shots, Lanero starting pillar doesn't seem all too bad.
Yeah, there are now 4 more checks opened up. Actually, 6 more checks opened up with claw shots. Because you have 1 in mines, 2 in Lanayru caves, and 3 in desert. There's also Zelda's closet opened up, but we're kind of far from the academy, so runners may elect to wait until their next Skyloft trip to check that.
Spirit of the Fire, Lanero Desert, and Beetle.
So Beetle is interesting. So runners choosing... Oh, Jasnix is turning around. Okay, or both runners are turning around.
Yeah.
They're gonna check all the hint stones before going to Lanayru, which is almost certainly a good choice.
Yeah, it looks like the runners opting not check on Beetle yet because both of them have 20 rupees. Central Skyloft is Way of the Sots. And Volcano Side Digging has Red Treasure. Never, CJ. Never. But yeah, it seems like the runners are opting to clear the sky as much as they can with Spiral Charge and all the hints down there that it has.
Yeah, so Jasnix clipping into that Spiral Charge rock. Basically, the way that we believe it works is that when you start doing a Spiral Charge, it removes the Loft Wing collision, and so you can just dive off into it. Gymnast just breaking the boulder.
Spirit of the Way was something, and the other I couldn't read. Ooh, there seems like to be an item that Jasnix like. Fernwood and Cetus has Progressive Wallet.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell what that item was. Okay, it's Scale. So that opens up an additional check on Skyloft. The shed chest.
Which seems fair.
So yeah, as of now, like Jasnix has a very, very small lead, but this could change very quickly.
And TJ, to your question, fair inputs was way of the way. Reclusive Serp in Dragon and Volcano Summit is barren. So in Lake Floria we have a sword. At least one sword.
Yeah, so that scale is important.
Well, somewhat important. We don't know where the others were on. East Chest and yeah, Summit is barren. And digging mids. Doesn't help much with the pillar we have. No, I'm not on double duty, but I'm on bully duty. And opting to check on Oriet to get Paris Crystal.
So Jasnix heading into the linear pillar.
Seems fair.
Yeah, it's the most item dense area right now.
I mean, digging mids are somewhat required so far to get to Earth Temple and locks one chest in the...
Yeah. Also just unlocks a lot of the checks in Eldin, and Eldin is the like most item dense area.
Yeah.
At least if you don't have any items, which our runners have a couple items, but still looking for a bomb bag. And then for LMF, we can check the first chest in LMF. So actually the runners have 7 checks open to them in here, not 6. But we can't go beyond the first room because we need either whip or hook beetle. Hook beetle is the logical progression, but you can also do it, whip the lever from the quicksand.
Try mids and Skyloft. Village was Sky of the Sky.
Yeah, so that means that Malara has something, although that something could be a key piece.
Or Paro. As far as I know, he doesn't count as Sky.
Yeah, interesting that Jim is choosing to go through mines.
Gives him 2 different checks to Jasnix.
Yeah. But both runners finding different crystal packs, so we're actually 1 crystal pack. Well, actually, we all like already. There's logical Bat 30 access, and Jim also talking to that robot, suggesting that he may be doing early Thunderhead.
Emerald Tablet. Okay, Lanero Desert is Sky of the Way.
Yeah, so that's all. Yeah, that's certainly the item that hint was referring to.
And a bottle. Which success that Jasnix could do Emerald Tablet later.
So Jim making his way through mines, going to be showing off a trick called brake sliding. So when he's pausing on the home screen, he's switching from running forward to holding target and ever so slightly back on the control stick. And in quicksand, the game only reduces positive speed. So what the brake slide allows him to do is basically set his speed to negative, which is not impacted by the sink sand.
Here on first check in LMF.
Yeah, so unfortunately we can't really do anything with that key. We kind of need the...
I think Jim forgot something in.
Yeah, Jim, not particularly happy with himself. Actually, I think Jim might have thrown a bomb and the bomb just missed. Okay, so
Jasnix got his first third upgrade. Not that I really saw. Yeah, crystals. Mine was a very way of the patrol thing.
Yeah. So Jasnix choosing to put off mines.
Understandable. He's probably waiting for either heater or bombs.
Yeah, that is true. There's one check that Jim was unable to do in mines.
And Jasnix going to the sky, saving Oriel.
For a key piece.
I mean, required? Budget required, but it's required.
Yeah. But, I mean, these runners have a way to bypass needing any key pieces, so they're not going to be terribly excited by seeing key pieces. Especially when those key pieces are in Spear of the Sword hinted locations. So now we'll see if Jim decides to go through with early Thunderhead. Jim's at least gotta finish his linear checks first, though.
Which is understandable, and Jasnix not opting to go to Skyback. No harm, this check is exclusively routed by Mirage as far as I know.
Yeah, the chest on top of LMF is not required in these settings because it's considered to be locked by behind the nodes, which are mini dungeons, even though we have open LMF on.
Ballad in Emerald in Seer Ground. This?
So Jasnix saving some time by not doing early Thunderhead and just getting Ballad along the way. If Jim goes through with early Thunderhead, he's going to be a little bit upset.
I wasn't able to see the...
One of those hints was for a beetle.
Jim also getting his Emerald Tablet. He just got Tank Slayer. So far, Jasnix is a bit ahead, but it's random, so we're not gonna random. Jasnix getting grade 3. And falling down. And with this, Jim can actually route Patrol 30 in. So for Jim, going to Loft is a okay choice.
So Jim not going through with early Thunderhead. Even though he took the time to set it up.
Dense power in grade 3.
So Jim doesn't know that he's gonna save some time by not doing early Thunderhead, but it's interesting that he ultimately decided not to go through with it.
And Jasnix going to Deep Woods.
Harm pointing out about that part of the reason why Jasnix doesn't want to go back to Skyloft is because he's hoping to get more money before he does, because we know that Beetle is Spirit of the Sword, and so I mean, it's possible that that item might be a key piece.
Yeah.
But in order to even check what all of the items are, you need at least 200 rupees.
The settings are glitchless. We also have a limit go for glitches. They are like back in time. They are only allowed to item dupe.
Yeah, which we obviously don't allow because that would just be broken in randomizer context.
I
There's
mean,
some
early sword could be
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah, I mean, there could be are some exceptions with crystal duping for specifically because crystal duping.
Bombs. Okay.
Or
Going back to Skylar first was the better choice instead of going to Baron. And Jasnix can also now route in Patrol 30.
yeah, but yeah, with crystals, there's some useful RBMs that involve you RBMing a gratitude crystal, so that's like the limited duping that we allow there is that you're allowed to do those RBMs by those but you're not allowed to use the crystals that you dupe from there for Betro.
Yep. And Jim is practically able to full clear, more or less full clear Baron and like.
Yeah, because have we gotten any Spirit of the Sword items from Farron? It looks like to me like Din's power was the
Could
only...
also be a chest. And Jim getting his bed, being proper happy. I don't know. Jim is being a snug again. about not doing the RBM for it. Oh yes, Chrissy has told Bet 50 who has Ruby Tab, which has Ruby Tablet. Yes, Skydiving Chest and Boss Key Chest has Silver Rupee. In LMF. Jasnix opting to get the sword. Was it the sword? Yes, it was the sword. With that, Jasnix has the white sword, which is one step under having the required sword to enter to finish the seed.
Yeah, but he will be able to full clear Thunderhead.
And Lake Florida has half.
Yeah, so definitely required. So this all really depends on if Jim finds an item on one of the two bomb walls here, because that could hold Jim ahead, even though it looks like Jasnix is ahead right now. The other difference is that Jim has done 2 more checks in mines that Jasnix has not done yet, and Jim obviously took the trip to Skyloft to get Bomb Bag, which Jasnix will probably do now.
Yep, and Jim getting his dense power.
Yeah. I think hoping that that is not the spirit of the sword item in Farron Woods, because if it is, then that means it's a required trial. But we shall see.
Which would be interesting.
That said, it could be Spirit of the Sword because it's locking a key piece.
It's a key piece.
Well, so there's a key piece behind that bomb wall. I guess I missed what was in the other bomb wall.
He didn't got the other bomb wall as far as I can remember. He's probably routing it on his way back. And Jasnix getting Bed of the Goddess chest.
Yeah. So this is the check that Jasnix is doing is a check that everyone will have to do. And switching to Jasnix's audio for this.
With the music rando, which is totally not over dramatic at the moment. Okay, not just both seemed. Yeah, both seemed dead. The Christus on. So if Patrol has one or chip. Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, Bat 40 was Jasnix's undoing in last night's race again that he had against your average Link. So it could be his undoing again if it turns out that Bat 40 has something and Jim can check it first.
Also, shoutouts to to EU internet. And it looks like it was a key piece.
Yeah. So now Jim's gonna go to Floria, get his sword and his harp. Meanwhile,
Yep.
Jasnix heading into the Thunderhead.
Seems like a good idea. Gives a hint. Gives he can basically full clear Thunderhead.
But still choosing to go for the hint stone first, which I guess he doesn't know. Like, he could technically get a Thunderhead Baron hint on this stone.
Spirit of the Third Sensi and Summit has a room.
Yeah. So as of right now, it looks like if there is a third game required in this series, it will happen tomorrow.
Jim has gotten his sword and gets his harp.
Yeah, so we're a half hour in. We're still looking for either Hook Beetle or Whip in Gus Bellows for LMF. For Earth Temple, we're looking for Ruby Tablet. Pretty much that's it. And then we also need one more sword.
Which sword?
Okay, so we now have all the sword upgrades we need. So it's pretty much Hook Beetle or Whip and Gus Bellows are the things we need in order to finish the seed.
Yep. Since Beast was hinted in Sansi. Of the sky hint.
Yeah, it's interesting that both runners choosing to invest the time to check the ballad check. Which is reasonable given that it's a check they have to do anyways.
Yep.
But it does take a bit of time to get to. But it has locked progression in the past. Jasnix checking his crystal count, so he wasn't entirely sure how many crystals he had. But he's choosing to just go right to Betrow immediately, which I think is reasonable given that there's a pretty good chance that one of the items that Betrow is going to have will be crystals.
Or a tablet. Yeah. Crystals
Yep.
especially.
That too. And yeah, Jasnix doing the Betrow manip where if you hop from one gravestone to the other and then side hop off, you confuse the game about where it should respawn you, and you respawn like right outside of Betrow's house.
Shield. That's useful.
Okay, so Jasnix will have 50 crystals, and I'll be able to do this. I thought I did. Maybe I just misread this crystal count.
He
'Cause
had 40. Jim has
okay.
45.
Yeah, it can be hard to read stuff on the commentary restream.
Another Song of the Hero.
So Jim will have an advantage with Betro because he'll be able to full clear Betro in one go, whereas Jasnix will have to return if Bat 50 has something. On the bright side for Jasnix, Bat 50 will be hinted somewhere. That doesn't mean it will be hinted in a good location, but there is a Bat 50 hint on some hint stone somewhere.
Yes, it's only up to 50 randomized. And Jim immediately going to Underhead.
Yeah. Jim has been just following in Jasnix's footsteps pretty much this entire race except for the divergence at the beginning. So as of right now, like the only thing that Jim has done over Jasnix is mines.
Yep.
And Jasnix is probably going to return there once he gets his bomb bag.
Yeah, Jasnix got like Floria access.
I mean, it's definitely possible. I mean, neither runner that someone is going to chase the Collins ladder check. Also, neither runner has checked Zelda's closet either, so it's reasonable to combine those two checks, and that looks to be exactly where Jasnix is going.
Which is reasonable, because surprisingly little money in this seed so far.
Yeah, sometimes seeds do this to you, where it's just like, it doesn't want to give you money. If anything, I'm surprised Jim didn't go for the play he went for, I think it was yesterday, where he got, or it was the day before, where he dipped Cistern for the 2 silver rupees there, but he may just be thinking that Beetle is likely to just be locking a key piece, in which case he'd be just wasting his time. Yeah, I mean, getting another wallet when you're looking for money isn't the worst thing, because it means if you get a gold rupee, you can actually keep all of the gold rupee, which may be very important if there are multiple betroth things or multiple beetle things that you need.
Nero's wisdom. Still no money.
Yeah, and also nothing. I don't think we've gotten a Knight Academy Phi hint yet.
And honestly, I don't even know where the hint could be at this point, which doesn't lock it itself.
Yeah, I mean, so we don't really have anything that would suggest that the linear trial is required at this point. Jim starting with the academy and working his way down.
It seems reasonable. Paying 50 rupee to get 20 rupees back. Nice.
Yeah. So unfortunately, yeah, doesn't really give us any more information. We just know that the required item is on the second or third 100 check at Beetle. A gold on 50 would be amazing, but that's not what we got. Proceed. Okay, so
Jasnix is opting to go to Baron and get the 2 Bumblebee checks.
Okay, so this gives Jim some chance to catch up because Jasnix is now doing checks that Jim has already done. Jasnix is not happy to see that key piece. Jim checking. Yeah, Jim hasn't been back to Skyloft. Well, I guess he went to Skyloft to get his bomb bag and then went right back to Farron. Okay, so Jasnix is going to be going to mines. So Jim is going to catch up a lot here because he's nearly done his Skyloft checks and Jasnix has to clear all of mines. But there is one check here in mines that Jim was unable to do because Jim did not yet have his bomb bag. If that check is something important, then Jasnix will actually grow his lead. On the other hand, Gymnast could take the lead here if BAT 50 turns out to be required. Or even if BAT 50 turns out to be a gold rupee or something. Jasnix
was 40.
Yeah.
And keep it. I'm next required. Required.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Jim, although if he does get all 5 key pieces, it means that he can skip a back in time sequence, which would give him a little bit of his time back, but we generally prefer not to find all 5 key pieces.
Because there was a Half a year ago, I was in the same depths as you were, and so were many other people here. So we don't really mind.
Okay, so
Crystal. This was the crystal's mine.
Yep. So Jim not punished for not being able to do that check. Jim is going to, well, Jim checking Beetle now and is going to be as disappointed as Jasnix. Jim with no visible reaction, but Jim is known for just being very stoic.
Jim goes direct to get the checks or the mines, and Jasnix not happy.
Yeah. So Jim, we'll see where he decides to start. If he decides to put off save scumming the mines check, he'll be pretty even with Jasnix. Otherwise, Jasnix still has a slight lead.
Jim opting to... He's getting the check.
Yeah, Jim doesn't know this, but this is really bad for him. Jasnix is going into unknown territory at this point, which has to give us some progression, like we've checked everything else.
And Song of the Hero complete on Jasnix's side.
Yeah. Do we know what's on the SkyLive trial?
I don't think so.
Okay, so Jim did, in fact, is save scumming those crystals.
Which is fair.
Yeah, I mean,
Red rupee! Yay, somewhat money!
Still, yeah, Jasnix still cannot afford the Beetle 100 item.
Jim's file name is 8 plus 6 equals question mark.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, honestly, at this point, Jasnix can check bet 60. But bet 60 has nothing in it.
Yeah. Well, there is no bat 60 check anyways. Like, there's two at 70 and one at 80, but they will always contain junk in these settings. Although, for all they know, that junk item could in fact be a gold rupee. Like, if you're super desperate for money.
Cave's key. Cave was Sansi was hinted as having an additional useful item to the beetle it has.
Well, we still don't have a whip, so that item would have to be on the very first chest in Skippers, which is probably like the worst place that whip could be, or in fact like any progression that locks whip.
Bat is shortening for Batrope, which is kind of like the Skulltula house in Ocarina of Time, for example.
Yeah, so you have to give him gratitude crystals, and he gives you items for increasing numbers of them. So yeah, Jasnix still in the lead, has been in the lead for virtually this entire race. And at this point, like, they've pretty much, I don't think there's any checks that Jim has done that Jasnix has not at this point, so Jasnix actually is in the lead.
Yeah. So far, the only thing that could take the lead from Jasnix is if you throw something. And Jim opting to death walk.
I'm not sure that this winds up being faster if he's going to West Desert as his next destination. So but I guess we'll see. Actually, it might like barely be, and like the only real reason being that it, like this route avoids Sand completely. Jasnix rolling the wrong direction. After cutscenes, the camera will face in the direction of the cutscene for 1 frame before swapping directions to how Link is facing, so you can wind up getting a little bit trolled by the camera, and like part of running this game at a high level is basically knowing in every circumstance where there's a cutscene is what direction you need to roll after that cutscene. So there's 1 check we can do in Skippers. And I guess the runners are figuring that since Whip is locks a beetle, they're just gonna look for Whip instead of looking to get Hook Beetle. So thus Jasnix not doing the P-Hat RPM, so he will only be able to check 1 chest here. Also, Jasnix in his very familiar situation of being out of bombs. We'll see if Jim has done some better bomb count management, or if he is also going to be nearly out of bombs.
Money!
And it's not progression. Our progression is on Beetle. Unless there's some other check that these runners haven't done yet that they can do, but I don't think so. So we're going to be money farming, which probably means bamboo cutting.
I mean, what else?
Although, it might actually be faster to get the silver rupees from Ancient Cistern. Because there's 2 silver rupees in the hands. And there's no RNG component to that. And yeah, that looks to be where Jasnix is heading. Well...
Nope. He decided against it in the last second.
I guess he's debating us.
And yes, Jim rolled the seed. Much to the displeasure of Jasnix.
Yeah. So if Jim already had said that he should be banned from rolling future seeds, and then he rolls this seed. Oh, Jasnix has 100, so I'll be able to check the second one. So this is a bit of a gamble that the progression is going to be on the second 100 check. So, moment of truth when Jasnix reloads.
It's whip.
So,
It's whip.
okay.
Money farming it is.
Okay, here's the interesting thing. So, Sansi is 5. And we don't know what is in the ruined pillar chest. Oh, Jasnix hasn't done bat 50. He's going to lose a little bit of time to this. But, there's a chance that Gust Bellows could be on the ruined pillar chest. And that the runners will basically have to double dip skippers. It's a very minute chance, but it is possible. Jim's going for this dig spot that actually has a ton of rupees in it.
I didn't even know this digging spot exists.
I think I found that dig spot on my very first casual playthrough of Skyward Sword when I was looking for rupees. Yeah, so
Why didn't you do 2 hours of Brill Digger? It's fun.
Probably because I did a couple rounds of Thrill Digger and just lost a ton of money and was like, okay, not doing this anymore. Unfortunately, I don't... Well, okay, these pots will reappear, but not the dig spot.
Bad for Jim. I think Jim will fly. Will he fly? Oh, he will sell treasure he got.
Okay, interesting. So, what could Jasnix want in Farron? Because he had the option to... Oh! Jasnix never got the Floria Waterfall statue, so now he has to do Fence Hop again.
Oh, right. Fun types.
Because both runners thought they were done with Floria. They didn't expect that they'd have to rupee farm. Or I guess in this case it's not really rupee farming, but just getting a couple of silver rupees.
Yep.
This race took a very interesting... Oh, Jim's gonna land not at the Floria Waterfall statue, but the Lake Floria. So he's going to be enduring a cutscene on his way back. Oh, no! No, Jim is 5-head! He's going for the silver rupee that's... Oh, no, okay. For a second there, I thought he was going for the single silver rupee to avoid the cutscene, but that is not what he's doing. So he is going to be enduring this cutscene. But there is also a silver rupee that is under a... rock in the main part of Lake Floria. And I thought for a second that that was where he was headed. Fun fact, there in the very, very beginning of the rando, they tried to randomize that silver rupee, but there was a bug where you could basically lose that item. So, that was removed from the randomization pool.
Bug is still not solved.
Well, it's a difficult to solve bug because it's just that the game will not give you text boxes while you're underwater, and that includes item text boxes.
Which is fair. You could drown. Bonk on
So
Jim.
CJ hoping for double beetle and skippers. Yeah, so Jim is still behind, but not by nearly as much. The whole rupee farming fiasco has significantly shortened Jasnix's lead. So with Whip, that gives us more access to LMF, and it also gives us access to the rest of Skippers. So it's possible if one of these runners feels behind that they could just dip the front of LMF.
And there's Bellows.
Okay, so never mind. Our runners will be going directly to LMF.
Yeah, it's...
Although, we do... If since he was in fact hinted Spirit of the Sword, they might still go there. But for all they know, it's a key piece debate.
It's a Jim race. It's a Jim Rando.
I mean, yeah, it could be a double beetle, but oh yeah, and Village was hinted Spirit of the Sword, so there's only one check in these settings in Village, and it is the Malara cleaning crystals. So we get to clean Malara's house and see if that is a key piece debate. I think we know of 3 key pieces right now. So there's only 2 more possible key piece debates. And we're also looking for Ruby Tablet. Like at this point, Ruby Tablet's the only thing we're looking for.
And B.
So there's
It's not another beetle in there.
Okay, that increases the chance of a Ruby Tablet and Skippers.
I don't remember if Elven Volcano was hinted as Way of the Way, but we know that Volcano Summit is barren. But yeah, we are technically 1 tablet away from Go mode.
Jasnix picking up his own arrow. At least now he doesn't have to worry about picking up arrows in Horde. But it's interesting how, yeah, so Jim actually, Jasnix did not do the bird's nest check.
Yeah.
Was it hinted?
I don't think. I
Yeah,
think
no.
Jasnix is hoping on the last location and it will pay off. Pharaoh's Courage.
We now have song percent on Jim.
Yep. It's a random seed. They know nothing but what they did so far. And possible hints. It's such a bait! Oh.
Well, let's see what Jim decides to do. Jim can take the lead by going right into LMF.
Nope, he doesn't.
Neither of these runners willing to, like, make the play.
Boss key is not required. It had silver rupee. The literal... Oh. If this is pure spit.
Jasnix is furious right now.
This is pure spit. High quality spit.
So, yeah. So, Jasnix is not even entertaining the idea of picking up Hook Beetle. He's just, heading out of here. Because, yeah, we know that their Hook Beetle is on the Skydive chest, but, yeah, Jasnix, does not want it. Which is reasonable, considering it really doesn't do anything for him that he can't do with whip or bombs. Although, it would make East Wing potentially just a little bit safer because there's now one precise bomb throw that Jasnix is going to want to do. So yeah, where else is left that are, besides inside LMF, where a Ruby tablet could be?
Fletch. Dumply said. It could be on Fletch crystals.
That is the only thing that could make this scene worse.
Yes, exactly. This is why. Him recognizing the debate. For scenes like this, I stay awake.
Well, we'll see what happens when Jim sees the gold rupee.
Yeah.
I'm looking solely at the player cam. Although, the Death Warp here is not going to do anything for Jim. Because it's just going to put him right back into Skipper's shack.
Sieges is not here.
So Jim also deciding to not bother with getting Hook Beetle. So Jasnix choosing not to go for the small key locked he didn't use the small key though.
He's probably hoping that it's not useful.
I think he realized he didn't have any bombs. That's why. Jasnix's poor ammo management coming back to haunt him.
And in the end, the boss key is there. Not checking the barrels if there are bombs.
Well, yeah, I don't think there are bombs in those barrels, but there are barrels outside of the map room that contain bombs, so he will probably be going for that. So, interesting. Bomb management could decide this race. Actually.
Indeed.
Like, if Ruby Tablet is in the small key locked section and Jim gets to it first.
Interesting word choice, Otaku. Filled dinner.
Well, yeah, I guess that too. If there is a key piece in that section, Jim will have a completed Earth Temple key, I'm pretty sure. I think there's only one left. I also cannot wait for the LMF Spirit of the Sword hint on the Temple of Time hint stone.
Me too.
That's the other thing that could make this seed worse.
Ah.
Jim getting the bomb throw first try. He does take a little bit of damage for it, but I don't think he really cares.
Probably also not good, CJ. He got bombs.
And well, I mean, we'll see in a bit when he switches to them. Yeah, well, because Jasnix was consciously thinking about it when he realized he had 0.
And another bubble.
So Jasnix not punished thus far. But yeah, the worst case scenario for Jasnix is this next room contains Ruby Tablet and Boss Key. If that happens, Jasnix... If both of those items are here, Jasnix loses his lead. Otherwise, Jasnix stays ahead, because Jim is going to check West Wing next.
Flash Crystals having something useful would be a first. In this tournament.
Okay,
Stoner.
well... Yeah, so Stoner Trial's just a paperweight in these settings, because we do not need to open Skykeep.
And money. It was absolutely useless.
Okay, so Jasnix retains his lead. Because Jim is going to go back and he's going to start checking the West Wing checks that Jasnix has already done. So this is a very close race, but Jasnix with maybe a minute or maybe like 2-minute lead over Jim.
And the circuit.
Okay. So now the thing is, though, we're still looking for Ruby Tablet, and there's virtually no other locations left. So, we're still going to be full clearing this dungeon, except for the boss key room that was hinted.
Which were rupees. I have a small petition. Every time Jim tries to roll a seed, someone from the community has to check it beforehand. Or roll it for him.
Ooh, Jasnix, not going the correct direction here is gonna lose actually a lot of time to that. At this point, if I were Jasnix, I'd just Death Warp. Rather than trying to go all the way around the room again. But Jasnix probably feeling stressed, but at the same time, like, I don't think he necessarily can feel too bad about what he's done, like, considering that, like, almost the only way that someone actually beats this seed faster, or the only like other way that for someone Jasnix to really be screwed over by his routing is if somebody just did Thrill Digger farming at the start. But it's not something that you're really going to want to do in an Earth Temple seed. But imagine how different this seed could, would have looked if this were LMF Fire Sanctuary instead of LMF Earth Temple, but with otherwise the same item layout. Because then, like, then you would not have had the key piece debates. Or at least the threat of key piece debates. And the runners probably would have prioritized Beetle significantly higher than they did. But I can't really fault them for not prioritizing Beetle because you would feel really bad to farm up 200 rupees, or probably at the beginning of the season more like 300 rupees just for a key piece debate. So Jasnix still in the lead, still with a fairly comfortable lead. Basically all of the crawl space section is basically his entire lead at this point.
At this point, I wonder if LMF was secretly hinted bear.
I mean, that would imply Fledge Crystals has Ruby Tablet. That's like the only way.
Because I haven't seen anything remotely useful.
Well, we still have the Yal chest.
Yes.
So Ruby Tablet could be on that chest. The Yal chest referring to the shortcut chest after the boss key. And it's called the Yal chest because Yal won a weekly race based on him checking that chest when everyone else skipped it. And he won by like half an hour because of it.
Yeah, I think this is what put him back then on first seed. Oof, not getting the jump.
CJ is fine. But CJ, why are you trying to get good seeds? Like, we're Twitch chat. We love these horrible seeds.
Honestly, at this point, I would literally stay awake just to roll a seed. I won't track, I won't commentate, but I would roll the seed.
Yeah, but yeah, we should be doing everything in our power to encourage terrible seeds. Yeah, so Jasnix, meanwhile, there did a trick to stay on the minecart by just doing a pretty precise front hop onto it. So this is actually interesting. So Jasnix saved, but Jim didn't. So Jim's gonna have to ride the minecart back. Oh boy, Cubs seed. The last time Cubs rolled an SSR seed, that was the seed with like Whip on Din's Power and Bow on Levias. I remember that because that was my race. And
Is Raid awake? Raid had some fun seeds, like Vanilla TMS.
I think Reed rolled a 2 trial hard required seed.
Yeah, Raid has fun seeds. No, it just had to switch to 12 AM. They are missing for Go Mode Ruby tablet. Yes, Flo, you are the degen. Every time you are awake, it's degen time.
Jasnix failing the phase 2 skip. That is giving Jim some time to catch up. Yeah, Jasnix definitely, I think, looking a little bit nervous and definitely not happy with how that Moldy fight went. So if Jim can have a clean Moldarok fight, he gains just that little bit more time on Jasnix. Because the runners are separated right now by a Moldarok fight.
So far it looks like... Yep, clean Moldarok fight. They are literally separated by seconds right now.
They are separated by about 40 seconds, which I think is the length of the cutscene of the Moldarok death cutscene.
And it's Ruby.
On with the heart container.
Jasnix is in go mode.
Yeah, and Jim will be shortly thereafter. So at this point, it's So at this point, they're go right to Eldon, take the shortcut to the ascent area, and do the Earth Temple RBM. Jasnix scooping in the minecart. Another your average Link meme. Jim's reaction to that. So, I mean, both of them may feel behind, but each of them basically last location that, but it's kind of reasonable.
We knew it.
We predicted that.
Yeah, it was either Baron or hinted. Way of the way. They scoop in a minecart because there's nothing else to do. Jim often opts to clean the robots. Floha is opting to just play the harm if he has, and Jarl and Jasnix often opt to just scoop ancient air.
Yeah. So Jim choosing not to check that hint stone, so he's going to gain a few seconds over Jasnix still. Yeah, the reason why the whole scooping meme started was from HD Harp runs when Yal chose to get the revitalizing potion bottle in Seal Temple for safety and in a race, and one of his opponents did not. Interesting. So Jasnix is going to do the Earth Temple RBM immediately at the start.
I can understand his play, honestly.
Yeah.
I think going from the start to the Earth Temple is 2 bomb throws, so it's not that far.
Yeah, so we'll see if Jim makes the same decision or if he... Okay, good. So Jim also knows about this shortcut, so... Jim choosing to use the Chew to take damage,
Save some bomb throws. Some bombs he could use on...
Interesting that he's choosing to only damage down to 4 hearts. Like, he consciously is choosing not to take a hit there because he could have just slashed that bomb and said, okay, I'm gonna be down to 2 hearts for this. So maybe that's slight nerves, maybe that's just he's just trying to be a little bit safe.
I could see him going safe because there are a lot of things that could damage him down.
Yeah. But I mean, this is all stuff that Jim has done hundreds and hundreds of times, so he should feel pretty confident in his ability to do this. And without taking damage. The one thing he might be concerned about is the keys at the start of Earth Temple. It can sometimes decide it just is going to hit you into the lava. And so that could save Jim some health. Wait, Jasnix going back to Ascent.
He had hoped he gets a boss key hint there.
Yeah, or I mean, or maybe like there's a key piece on the dig spot right in front of you hint. That could also happen, but I mean, I'm not surprised it's hinted Baron, given that the only thing left to find is a key piece. I find it really interesting that Jasnix chose to go this way. So Jasnix is the first one into Earth Temple. Okay, Jasnix probably less than happy to get that heart piece because he wants to do another instance of Back in Time very shortly to raise the drawbridge that's halfway through this dungeon, which will allow him to skip the boulder rolling section. Otherwise, getting clean cutscene skips for the first drawbridge ropes. Okay, that might have been on purpose that Jasnix took that hit to the Lizalfos. Yeah, Jim getting a little bit trolled by the Chew there. Okay,
And
Jasnix with the
boss
boss. Jim bonking there, attempting the cutscene skip. Some uncharacteristic errors. Yeah, that last was Furious Courage on the bird's nest. That would explain why Jasnix doesn't have it, because
Yeah, it
Jasnix
was on a
never.
bird's nest.
Yeah, Jasnix never checked the bird's nest.
Oh boy! Oh boy, we are getting caps. Probably.
Also, Jim is getting punished by choosing to check the bomb bag checks before the first boulder rolling chest. So Jasnix gaining even more of a lead here. Like, at this point, this is Jasnix's race to lose. So, basically the fact that Jim is choosing to do the bridge RBM now suggests he's going to do map chests next, which is going to waste even more time for him. So this is interesting. Like, this is the first time that I think I can ever see like a race where Jim has been behind literally from the beginning of the race.
That is definitely an interesting race on Jim's record. I mean, for those who just joined watching the tournament, Jasnix was back then the person who put Jim in loser's bracket. So the fact that looks like Jim might lose again to Jasnix is quite interesting. And yes, this is the loser's bracket final. The winner of this best of 3 will face your average Link in the grand finals. And yes, this is round 1. And Jim is opting to get his health down to do the Does the RBM the ski check?
Or well, he needs to reload for the dropper or for the bridge up here to actually be
True.
up. So
I
that's
forgot that.
yeah. So that's why he damaged down there. So now let's see how Scaldera goes. Granted, Scaldera with Master Sword is a fairly fast fight. It should basically be a 2-cycle every time. Interestingly, going for just a spin attack on the first phase. Okay, that's different from the strat that I use, but it worked. Spin on first phase and then 2 spins on the second phase. Because I normally do slash spin and then slash spin again on the second phase, but either way works. But yes, to answer your average links question, yes, Jasnix did not do the bomb bag checks, so that lost Jim some additional time. Not that I think what Jim did was wrong, he just got unlucky in the order in which he did checks. And Jasnix just got lucky, is all that it comes down to with Earth Temple routing.
We...
Yeah, the stream just died. Okay, looks like it's back on. Okay, we're having some technical difficulties. Looks like we're trying to get the stream back. Okay. Does look like this and
What the hell?
okay. So hopefully the stream is back at this point. Apologies. For taking a death.
Interesting. But Jim at least finished Earth Temple.
Yeah, so, well, Jasnix has a fairy, so it's fine, but This is not a good first phase of Horde from Jasnix. I'd say that's uncharacteristically bad, actually, but sometimes the Bokoblin RNG just be like that. So now we're on the second phase. Jasnix gonna try to get a jump off the Moblin shield to skip an entire rotation of the Horde fight, which he gets.
Yay!
So now this is the fourth barrier, is 2 Stalfos, and it's relatively quick. Okay, Jasnix in the Game 3 fight. So, getting a nice shield bash there to skip the purple hand phase. And now on to phase 2.
Jim opting to use the fairy and not when he dies.
Yeah, well, it's always going to be faster to use a fairy it's always faster to manually use the fairy than let it get auto-activated when your health drops to 0. So now Jasnix and Demise, which is a relatively scripted fight.
It's a fight the runners often opt to do blindfolded. It's that easy.
Yeah. I mean, it does take a decent amount of practice to do blindfolded, but it's still, its scripted nature makes it really good for blindfolded. But Jasnix's not going to do it here because he doesn't know how far ahead he is. And with that, yeah, Jasnix is finished in first place with a time of 1:42.52.
And Jim forfeiting.
Yeah. So.
Which seems fair.
Yeah. And we're also not going to be having interviews. We're just getting right into the second race. So, yeah. So basically, this race kind of just Jasnix just had a slight advantage for the entire race, and then and that just kind of carried through to the end. So, Yeah. So the next race will be in about 15 minutes time. So I believe on the restream we're just gonna like we're just gonna like reset the layout and just break for the next about 15 minutes. So yeah, any other last words for this race, Senra?
I will watch it, but I don't know if I can stay the full race, so I'm opting to sit it out. So, good luck, runners, if you hear me, and the team that now joins. And goodbye.